Young historians, this is an overview of the NHD projects, the third important choice that you have to make for your success for National History Day this year. I'm going to go through the 5 project categories, talk a little bit about each of them, and also talk about the schedule for the rest of NHD. So sit back, get some popcorn, get something to, a soda pop or something like that, and enjoy. So, when you're doing this, you got to think, what is your goal? Are you in it to win it? Are you in it to survive? That could determine what type of project you choose, what your category is. Because some of them, if you're in it to win it, you might want to choose a category that's not as competitive. But basically, I don't care what type of project you do. I want you to do what's best for you. This is not about me. This is not about us. This is about you. All right. So, what can you do to be as successful as possible and push yourself towards excellence? No matter what, all projects have to have a thesis based on research, detailed research. That research has to have primary sources, not just like, oh, I have 6 pictures. All right. Your primary sources really have to support your research. Everybody has to have an annotated bibliography, every source annotated, 2 to 3 sentences. You're going to be writing process papers. That's going to happen in January. It's actually pretty easy. I think Ms. Frederick's going to help you out with that. Not a problem. Just something you're going to do. NHD wants you to do it. All the work has to be original. It's got to be your work. This is not ChatGPT's work. I'm going to tell you, if I suspect it, then I'm probably not going to be able to let something move on. I really can't do that. Do not use it to help write your work. You can use it to proofread, all right, and to do spell check, but do not use it to improve your writing at all. It's got to have your voice. It's got to have a student voice, not just the voice, not just cut and paste from other resources. We've talked about multiple perspectives. Make sure you're looking at it through different lenses somewhere in there. It's got to have an historical argument. That's really your claim and thesis. It's not just a report. You're supporting something. And then everything's going to be done based on the NHD rubric. These are all available online on Google Classroom. This is how I will give you your feedback, because I'm gonna assess you just the way judges would assess you. Okay, there are 8 topics on the front. No matter what project it is, every front is the same of the rubric. It's your historical quality. It's 80% of the assessment. So 80% is your research. That's why we spend so much time in your research and not as much time making a documentary or an exhibit. You have to have a historical argument, a claim with a thesis, or a claim or a thesis based on wide research. Have to have primary sources in there. You have to have historical context. You know that. We're looking at multiple perspectives. Historical accuracy, I'm not too worried about that. It's not like you guys are making stuff up or whatever. But you do have to show that it is significant in history and that the analysis, the argument, and the conclusions are yours. They're original and they're based on your research. Read those very, very, very carefully. All right. The back of the rubric, 20%, is different for every project. And that's how good is your performance? How good is your exhibit? How good is your documentary? How good is your paper? How good is your website? The technical parts of it. A lot of it is really a checklist, especially on the bottom. And the bottom checklist is also that you are following the rules. So make sure you follow the rules. Therefore, make sure you read the rule book for your project. All right. Whatever type of project you do, make sure you specifically read the rules. It's important. These are your 5 choices: exhibit, documentary, performance, website, and paper. An exhibit is not a poster board. Please don't call it a poster board. It's not even just a trifold. All right, you can see these exhibits are pretty powerful. This was at the state competition a few years ago. All right, there are 500 original words. They can be 72 inches tall, 40 inches wide, 30 inches deep. You can have multimedia on it, but it can only be 3 minutes. You get the materials. I don't give them to you because I don't know what kind of exhibit you want to make. You can't have any links or QR codes or quizzes or games because those don't help you with your thesis. And then there are a lot of examples online. I'll show you some examples. Some are good, some are not so good. An example on the left, it's a pretty good one. The reason why I like to show that one is you'll notice how they put the title up on the top, then on the bottom, kind of on what would be the table. You can use that as a surface too to put some information. Okay, on the right one, that's a creative one. It's about Rosa Parks. She didn't give up her bus seat, so they used a bus seat, which is cool. But I don't know if that fit the size requirements. And also, there's a timeline on there. That's a lot of words that might have been used up. And then on the bottom, there's just 5 library books. That doesn't mean anything. That you can find books. All right. Your exhibit can be four sides, like the one on the left there, and on the one on the right, it can include a potty. Isn't that funny? Or you can have battling French fries. Whatever the case, why would you do it? If your topic's visual, if you can put together a lot of different visuals, varied visuals, graphs, cartoons, maps, images, art, you name it. If you're creative with that kind of stuff, and if you're with a partner and they want to do it, go for an exhibit. It's cool. If it's not very visual, don't do an exhibit. If you're not very creative with that, don't do an exhibit. And the 500 word limit is hard. It's hard to do the 500 word limit. It's also hard to do a good exhibit. So I'm going to show you some good exhibits. I'm going to show you some bad exhibits. But these are some quick notes. You got to cite your images. You're going to organize it into buckets. That's easy, no problem. When you show me your first part of your exhibit, your first bucket, you're not going to glue anything down. And you got to get 500 words. And we'll talk about the word limit when we get to January. Documentaries. Documentaries are 10. This is a first place in the nation documentary from a university school student over a decade ago. They are 10-minute videos. You do not need footnotes on the script, which is kind of cool. You don't have to like cite your every source on your script. You don't need. There is no word limit for your script. It's a time limit. You have credits, but those are only at the end. And there are a lot of examples online. I can show you some good ones and some not so good ones. This is a really, really good one. You'll notice that this person put text on the screen, has audio in the back. There's a interview there. You'll notice there's some music in the background that kind of sets the tone. You can watch that one. I'll put the link on it. It's really, really powerful. Why would you do a doc? Because your topic is documentary worthy. It's got images and multimedia. If you love to do video editing, that's cool. If you feel that you can fill up 10 minutes, we don't want a 4-minute documentary. You want a 10-minute documentary or close. And you can be kind of creative, show off your sort of directorial style. If you don't like video editing, probably not the best. And it is time consuming. I will tell you that it's time consuming, especially if it's a partnership, because you can really only do it on one computer. It's hard to do it on two computers. You write your script first, then you do your documentary. You don't like find images and then match your script to that. You do your script and match images to your script. You got to be clear with your images. You got to be varied. You shouldn't see the same image over and over and over and over. News headlines are cool. Newspaper articles are cool. Magazine headlines are cool as an image. Maps too, cartoons, things like that. You can include interviews, ones that you did, or also ones that you find on YouTube or online. However, you don't want them to be too long because I would just, you don't want to strip the really good part because it's really not your work. And then you got to cite everything in your bibliography, including all your images. Performances. Performances are totally fun. Have had some success with performances. Top left, fourth in the nation. Bottom left, fourth in the nation. Top right, third in the state. That's Derek, and then the bottom left, that trio, third in the state as well. And these also were awesome. These were all like top 5 in the state. Our performances, we can do pretty well on them. 10-minute performances. You do not need footnotes in your script. You do all the costumes, the multimedia, the props, the stage material, the performance, stuff like that. And we do want to have it memorized. You gotta want to get it memorized. All right. Why would you do it if your topic is dramatic? And a lot of you have dramatic topics. All right, for rights and responsibilities. If you could set up like scenes for it, it's not a speech. It's a performance. All right. You're not giving it's not like a TED talk kind of. You're actually acting. If you like it, if you enjoy performing, that's good. You don't need footnotes in the script. It's actually probably the easiest. This in the paper, the easiest of the 5. And if you want to advance, because it might not be very competitive, especially at the regional level, there's not a lot of performances. If your topic isn't very dramatic, don't do a performance. If you don't like performing, actually, you know what? If you don't like performing, I'd still say try it because maybe you'll like it. You do want to write your script first. You want to get things memorized. Your script just goes through your buckets. You have to have primary source quotes in there, and you can have primary source images, but you don't have like a poster board that you utilize. It has to be part of the flow of your performance. And then props and costumes are important, but not as much as the content of the performance. Websites. Here's a great website that we had from this is a national website a couple years ago. You'll notice that it's a here at the buckets up at the top here. I'll have tons of examples of websites that you can take a look at. All right, there's a thesis right there. You've got primary source quotes. Everything is integrated into the website. You have to use the NHD web builder. That is a non-negotiable, unfortunately. No Google Sites, no Weebly, no Wix, nothing else. It's got to be the NHD web builder. The website has to stand alone. You can't link to another thing. You can't link to another video. You can't link to a document outside of your website because you have 100 megabytes of memory. That includes everything, including video. Your multimedia you can use 3 minutes video, audio, and you get 1,200 words. That's almost 2.5 times what you get for an exhibit. And it should be interactive. People should be able to click around it and stuff like that. Why would you do it? Really, if you're debating between an exhibit and a website, the biggest difference is going to be the 500 word count to the 1,200 word count. Plus, the website involves more technology. Why not a website if you're not a big technology fan? And I'm going to tell you the web builder is mediocre at best. However, that's actually kind of a benefit because you spend more time working on your history and less on the kind of technical whiz bangs. You got to cite everything. You got to use that NHD creator. Everything's got to be on your site. You don't want to put quizzes or polls or games on it because that doesn't help support your thesis. And you want to make sure that it's interactive. All right. We've been very successful on websites, including with the little NHD builder. It's actually been nationally our most successful category of the last 4 years. And then you got your traditional paper. This is only individuals can do this. Just a traditional paper. You've got 2,500 words max. You cite all of your sources you footnote within the text. You don't need any images at all. This is what a paper looks like. It's really straightforward. Some people might think it's boring, but also this is a great way to demonstrate historical research. Okay. Why would you do a paper? Well, you like to write if your topic can be explained without multimedia, and it's fairly easy. It's fairly straightforward. It really is. Why not do it? Well, if you don't like to write, even though I would say do it anyways if you're thinking about doing a paper and writing is not your strength, because let's work on it to make it your strength. For any of these, we can do that. And then if you need images or multimedia, don't do a paper. Like if your topic is about art, I think I would ask you not to do a paper. You got to footnote it. You got to proofread it. All right, that's really the key. You're going to develop project plans for your projects. They're on Google Classroom. It's basically an outline saying how you're going to operate, how you're going to put everything together. What is your plan? Because you don't want to just start putting a documentary together. You want to think about how you're going to put your documentary together. Write your outline for your script. Write your script, and then same thing with your performance. Same thing with everything. All right. Plan your work, and then you work your plan. Again, what's your goal? Is your goal to survive, to get this sucker done? Is your goal to compete regionally, state, or is your goal to win it all? These are 10 people, or these are some of the 10 projects that from 2 years ago went to nationals. And in those groups, we actually had at least one of every project category. There was a documentary, there were a few websites, there was a performance, there was a paper, and there were a few exhibits as well. So you can succeed, you can go, no matter what your category is. However, we do have some limits to how many we can send. We can send 5 projects from each category to the regional competition. So 5 individual, 5 group. So we could send up to 45. We're not going to send 45 because we only have 10 group projects. I could send 20 group projects, but we're only going to send a maximum of 10 because there's only 10 group projects. It's not a guarantee that if there's only 5 projects in the category that you will go to the regional competition, because I want to make sure that it's worthwhile for your time, for the judges' time, and it's worth the $10 that it costs to go to the regional competition. All right. This is a sign up sheet. You'll notice that Eden's name is already on there as an example because Eden and I have already talked. She's going to do a performance. So this is available online. Sign up as soon as you possibly can. It doesn't mean that the first 5 are going to do it. I just want you to sign up so that everybody knows what the competitive categories are. So if somebody is deciding between a documentary and performance, they know and they want to move on, they know that it might be easier to move on in one of the two categories. Hopefully that makes sense. But this is available on Google Classroom. When you get back from winter break, and I can't wait for you guys to have a great winter break, I'm looking forward to it too. But when we get back from winter break, January is crunch time. All right, we're going to welcome everybody back, and then boom, we are going to work. We're going to have some history. We're going to do Reconstruction. We're going to end the fiery trial with Reconstruction, which is really, really powerful. But my goal for Reconstruction is that you're doing stuff pretty much in class, and that every class, we will spend either half or all of it on NHD, including the time near the right before we get to the showcase. All right. We want to watch the Lions for their first playoff game, hopefully on the 19th. Hopefully that's their first because they'll have the first seed. The next day after that is MLK Day. We're not in school, but remember it's a day on, not a day off. See if you can do some service. Also, it's the presidential inauguration. And then on the 26th, hopefully the Lions will be in the NFC Championship to head to the Super Bowl. After that weekend, I want to see some drafts. I want to see some one section of your project, whether it is one page of your website or one bucket of your exhibit or something like that. That's what I want to see. And then that's the bullseye day. That's the big target day. That is our NHD showcase. That is Monday, February 3rd in the evening. It's going to be awesome. You're going to show off your work. You're going to be able to see everybody else's work. It's going to be totally cool. Can't wait for it. All right. This is our 20th one, I think. I want to say it's 20th. Ooh. Anniversary. That'd be kind of neat. I'm going to ask your parents to bring in treats so we can load up on sugar and have a good time. My goal is to announce the regional competitors, the competitors that we want to send to the regional competition by Friday the 7th. So I will actually not be, you have ERB testing on the 3rd and 4th, and then I won't be teaching on the 5th and 6th. Instead, I will be assessing all 61 projects. Announce them hopefully on the 7th because the 9th I'm going to be busy watching the Lions win the Super Bowl. That's my goal. We have to register our projects on the 17th, okay, Monday the 17th, and we then are going to send in our regional materials. So if you make it to the regionals, you register on the 17th, but then you have to send in your project stuff by the 24th. Because the regional competition is March 8th. Awesome day. It's a Saturday at UWM. It's going to be fun. I love it. It's a great time. Tons of history, but you can kind of have fun together, kind of roaming around college campus. Maybe your parents take you down there, and then they take you downtown, and they take you out to eat or something like that. It's really, really cool. And then from there, we'll find out what projects move on. From the regional competition, 3 projects can move on in each category. Then you guys are going to go to spring break. Now, I do want to mention something here. That regional competition, that is a 3-day weekend. It's conferences, which for some people is a 4-day weekend. And a university school, a 4-day weekend means people have to go to like Arizona or Aruba or Argentina or whatever. If you want to compete, and your parents are going to get this information too, but if you want to compete at that regional competition, you got to be there. All right, so just keep that in mind. Plus, I mean, you do have 2 weeks off, after the following week. So I think, hopefully NHD will be something that you're interested in doing. Then we get to April. Those projects that were selected to go to the state competition will register by April 14th. And then we'll turn in their materials by April 21st. And that's good for us. We're a little early, so you have some time to make improvements. All along the way, you can make improvements. And then, boom, NHD state competition. That's the fun one. That's the real fun one. That is on May 3rd. That is a Saturday. That is also the time of SpongeBob. So, thanks to Ms. Gonring and Taylor in the theater, we were able to move SpongeBob to the night of May 3rd, so that anybody who wants to compete at the state level that makes it to the state level but is also in the play, you can do it. All right, you can do it. It'll be awesome. And then the next week we're going to go to Washington D.C. How about that? And then 2 weeks later it's March of the Memorials, and then 2 weeks later you guys are done. You're out on July 4th, June 4th, whatever, Taft. And it's cool. Some of you might not be done with NHD though. because you might go to the NHD Nationals, which are the following week, I believe. I have to double check that, but they're usually the following week, that second week in June. So you can do it, my friends. All right. I believe in you. I totally believe in you. You can do it. This is your opportunity to shine. This is your opportunity to show what kind of, not just what kind of historian you are, what kind of overall student you are. You can, everybody can succeed at NHD. All right. I totally believe in you. But it's going to take some effort, and that's why it's crunch time. All right. So over the winter break, have a fantastic winter break. You want to figure out your category, I think, over winter break so that when you come back in January, you're ready to plan your work your plan, and do something amazing. All right.